This is an essay by Joshua Hoffman, the founder of Future of Jewish.
Judaism is often defined by its texts, its laws, and its rituals. But at its core, it is a language driven civilization, driven, of course, by Hebrew. Hebrew is not merely a tool for communication, it is the vessel of Jewish memory, identity, and creativity. From the Torah to contemporary music, from medieval poetry to modern Israeli literature, Hebrew has shaped the Jewish imagination in ways that no other element of Jewish life can. To understand Israel fully, one must understand Hebrew, not just as a language, but as the key that unlocks the soul of a people. Hebrew begins with the sacred. The Torah, the Hebrew Bible, and the liturgy of Jewish prayer are written in a language that is both timeless and precise. Every letter, every vowel point, carries centuries of interpretation and tradition. Learning Hebrew is not simply a practical skill, it is an entry into a spiritual and cultural lineage. The act of reading Hebrew, of chanting its words in prayer, is an intimate dialogue with generations of Jews who came before. Even Jews who do not speak Hebrew fluently often feel its rhythm in prayers, songs, and blessings, a reminder that language is at the center of Jewish continuity. There is a reason the Hebrew alphabet, with its shapes and numerical symbolism, is considered sacred in Kabbalistic thought. Letters are not inert symbols, but carriers of divine energy, meaning, and memory. The Torah itself is written in a kind of code, not a secret code, but a multidimensional one. Jewish tradition teaches that it operates on four primary interpretive levels, each offering a unique way to engage with the text. The first, Pishat, is the simple literal meaning, what the Torah says at face value. Commentators like Rashi, writing in 12th century France, devoted their lives to clarifying this level, showing that the Torah's plain meaning is already rich and profound. The second drush is homiletic, found in the Midrash and Talmud. Drush reads between the lines to uncover moral, ethical, and spiritual lessons, revealing patterns and connections that are not immediately obvious. The third level, remez, literally hint, delves into subtler meanings. Hebrew wordplay, numerical values, and alternative pronunciations all allow layers of insight to emerge from the text. One reason the Torah scroll has no vowels or punctuation is precisely to preserve these multiple readings, enabling centuries of interpretation. The deepest level, Sod, is mystical and secret. This is the realm of Kabbalah and the Zohar, where divine energies, cosmic structures, and hidden truths are encoded in the language of the Torah itself. Far from contradicting the other levels, Sod reveals what the simpler readings were whispering all along. Together, these four levels form the acronym Pardes, which means orchard in Hebrew. It is a stunning metaphor. The Torah is not a textbook. It is an orchard, full of sweetness, beauty, shade, and sustenance. But like any orchard, its fruits are not free. You must walk through it, reach out, and get your hands dirty. The Torah is filled with delicious spiritual fruits, wrote Rabbi Noah Weinberg, just waiting to be plucked and savored. This multi-layered structure demonstrates that understanding the Torah and Judaism itself requires engagement with Hebrew, for it is the language that allows these layers to exist, interact, and reveal their richness. For example, the Hebrew word height is often translated as sin, but this translation reflects non-Jewish concepts. Cheat does not connote irredeemable evil. The word shares its root with lehakti, meaning to miss or to misfire, as in an arrow missing its target. There is nothing inherently bad about the arrow or the archer. Mistakes happen due to lack of focus, concentration, or skill. Judaism teaches that human beings are essentially good. We all make mistakes, lose our way, and sometimes miss the target, but our soul inherently strives toward goodness. In this way, Hebrew conveys not just actions, but a worldview, Mistakes are opportunities for growth rather than permanent moral failure. Here's another fun Hebrew fact for you. Approximately 2,000 years ago, after the Romans captured Jerusalem and exiled its Jewish inhabitants, Rabbi Yehuda Hanassi wrote down the Oral Torah to preserve its teachings. As generations passed, additional explanations became necessary, culminating in the Talmud or Gemara. Today, the basic laws of Jewish life are codified in the Shulchan Aruch, literally set table, reflecting a system that is both prepared and editable, as suggested by the Hebrew word aruch, which also means edited, an implication that Judaism is both set or prepared for us, and also editable. Hebrew also served the Zionist lens. Names and words themselves carry ethical and historical weight. Yehuda, the name of Leah's fourth son, means I am grateful, and is the root of the word for Jews, Yehudim, linking Jewish identity directly to gratitude. Then there's the name Israel, which means to struggle with God, reflecting Judaism's encouragement to wrestle intellectually and spiritually with God's presence. Understanding that faith is a journey rather than a blind acceptance. What's more, Hebrew has long been a medium of artistic expression. Medieval poets like Yehuda Halevi and Solomon ibn Gabirol used Hebrew to craft metaphysical and emotional landscapes, blending religious devotion with aesthetic exploration. Their poetry transformed Hebrew from a liturgical medium into a personal and artistic one, demonstrating that creativity and spirituality are inseparable in Jewish life. This tradition of innovation and beauty did not end with the Middle Ages. Modern Hebrew poets like Yehuda Amichai and Rachel Bluestein have shown that Hebrew can convey the deepest human emotions, from love and loss to longing and hope, in ways that resonate far beyond religious texts. Poetry in Hebrew captures nuances of thought and feeling that translations often flatten, proving that language shapes experience itself. Music in Hebrew further illustrates the language's living power. From the pioneering songs of Naomi Shemer, whose lyrics shaped Israeli national consciousness, to contemporary Israeli hip-hop and pop, Hebrew is the vehicle through which Jewish identity, history, and emotion are transmitted. Traditional songs like Adon Olam, Leha Dodi, and Jerusalem of Gold do more than entertain. They bind communities together, mark the rhythm of life, and evoke shared memory. Even in the diaspora, Jews who may not speak Hebrew conversationally find themselves moved by these melodies, participating in a cultural conversation that transcends geography. Hebrew music is an experience where history, spirituality, and identity intersect, proving that language is inseparable from culture. Hebrew's revival in the modern era adds another layer to its significance. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, Eliezer ben Yehuda embarked on a revolutionary project to bring Hebrew back as a spoken living language after centuries of primarily liturgical use. This revival was not merely linguistic, it was an act of cultural and national resurrection. The creation of a modern, vibrant Hebrew allowed poets, songwriters, and authors to craft works that were both contemporary and rooted in tradition. It also provided a shared language for the Jewish people, one that could bridge centuries of diaspora and anchor the emerging state of Israel. In this way, Hebrew became both a tool for nation building and a medium for cultural continuity, demonstrating the unique power of language in shaping identity. Modern Hebrew is not only a means of communication, it is a powerful lens through which Israelis express their culture, values, and social dynamics. In everyday life, media, literature, and especially music, Hebrew reflects the complexity, humor, and diversity of Israeli society. Television shows like Shtisel or Fauda, while popular internationally in translation, resonate most deeply in the original Hebrew because of their nuanced language. Idioms, slang, and subtle turns of phrase convey social hierarchies, generational differences, and cultural tensions in ways that are impossible to fully capture in translation. Hebrew becomes the vehicle through which the modern Israeli experience its joys anxieties, and ironies is communicated authentically. Music is another striking example of Hebrew as a cultural mirror. Artists like Iden Rachel fuse traditional Middle Eastern sounds with contemporary pop and electronic music, singing in Hebrew to explore themes of multiculturalism, migration, and social cohesion. The lyrics of contemporary Israeli hip hop, such as those by Subliminal or Tuna, address political and social issues, identity and national pride, using streetwise Hebrew that resonates with younger audiences. Even popular love songs like those of Eyal Golan convey universal human emotion while embedding uniquely Israeli references from neighborhoods to historical events in the rhythm and vocabulary of modern Hebrew. Israeli literature also demonstrates how modern Hebrew portrays society. Authors like Amos Oz, Edgar Keret, and A.B. Yehoshua depict the everyday lives, conflicts, and contradictions of Israeli society. Hebrew allows these writers to explore multiple layers of identity, from the secular religious debate to ethnic and cultural dynamics, giving readers insight into what it means to live in Israel today. Phrases, puns, and wordplay in Hebrew carry cultural connotations that enrich the narrative, making the language itself a reflection of the society it describes. Even in digital spaces, modern Hebrew shapes Israeli culture. Social media trends, memes, and viral videos often play with the language, using slang, creative spelling, and double meanings to comment on politics, societal norms, and daily life. The flexibility of modern Hebrew allows it to evolve rapidly, reflecting changing cultural attitudes while maintaining a connection to history and tradition. In short, Israelis use modern Hebrew not only to communicate, but to perform culture itself. Through music, literature, media, and even online discourse, Hebrew becomes the medium through which Israelis express their identity, social concerns, humor, and creativity. It is a living, evolving language that mirrors the society it serves, capturing the complexity, energy, and uniqueness of modern Israel in ways no other language could. At the same time, one of the reasons Judaism often appears mysterious or inaccessible to outsiders is precisely because Hebrew serves as both a key and a gatekeeper. Many of the richest layers of Jewish thought, legal reasoning, mystical interpretation, poetry, and liturgy are encoded in Hebrew, a language with unique structures, roots, and nuances that cannot be fully captured in translation. The rhythm of the language, the interplay of consonants and vowels, and the multi-layered meanings of words all contribute to a depth that is often lost for those who only read translations. For example, the Hebrew word chesed is commonly translated as kindness or loving kindness. But in Jewish texts, it encompasses loyalty, covenantal responsibility, and ethical action in ways that a single English word cannot convey. This linguistic barrier creates a sense of mystery. Outsiders may see rituals, prayers, and customs without grasping the conceptual richness and historical resonance behind them. A simple prayer or a line of Torah commentary can contain centuries of debate, allusions, and moral reasoning, comprehensible only to someone who knows Hebrew and has learned the interpretive traditions that surround it. Even modern cultural expressions, songs, literature, humor, or media, carry idioms, wordplay, and cultural references that make full understanding dependent on knowledge of Hebrew. In this way, Hebrew is not only a medium of expression, but a guardian of Jewish thought and identity, preserving subtlety, depth, and nuance that give Judaism its complexity and, for outsiders, its aura of mystery. Hebrew also serves as a cognitive and spiritual lens. Unlike many modern languages, it is root-based. Words grow from triliteral roots that reveal relationships between concepts and moral ideas. This structure encourages a way of thinking that is associative, reflective, and deeply connected to meaning. Learning Hebrew, therefore, is not only learning a way to communicate, but learning a framework through which to understand the world, ethics, and human experience. The act of decoding a Hebrew root and exploring its derivatives is both intellectual and spiritual, linking language, thought, and identity inextricably. In the diaspora, Hebrew functions as a cultural glue. In synagogues from New York to Johannesburg, Jews chant the same prayers and recite the same psalms, connecting communities across time and space. Songs sung in Hebrew are not merely musical performances, they are acts of memory and belonging. Even in a modern, more secular context, Hebrew remains a thread that binds individual Jews to a wider narrative of history and identity. Contemporary Israeli songs, Jewish educational content, and even Hebrew language social media and apps show that Hebrew continues to evolve while maintaining its role as a unifying cultural force. This demonstrates that Hebrew is not frozen in ritual, but alive in everyday life, capable of connecting Jews across generations, continents, and experiences. Ultimately, Hebrew is the key to Judaism because it allows engagement with Jewish culture in a direct and unmediated way. Translations can convey meaning, but they often fail to capture rhythm, nuance, and emotional resonance. Understanding Hebrew opens doors to the beauty of Piyutim, the layered interpretations of Torah commentary, and the vibrant creativity of modern Israeli music and literature. It is a language that carries the weight of history, the joy of celebration, the sorrow of exile, and the hope of renewal. Learning and using Hebrew is to participate in an ongoing conversation that spans centuries, cultures, and continents, a conversation that defines what it means to be Jewish. Hebrew is more than a language. It is the vessel of Jewish life itself. It connects Jews to their past, gives expression to their present, and shapes the imagination of future generations. Music, poetry, and prayer in Hebrew are not merely aesthetic pleasures. They are vital tools for sustaining identity, culture, and spirituality. In a world where Jewish continuity faces constant challenges, Hebrew remains central, a bridge between memory and creativity, tradition and modernity, individual and community. To engage with Hebrew is to engage with Judaism at its deepest level, to hear the echoes of ancestors, feel the pulse of a living people, and participate in a culture whose heart has always been a language of song, prayer, and poetic resonance. Hebrew is not simply the key to understanding Judaism. It is the key to experiencing it in its fullest, richest, and most enduring form.